Hey, this is Step Amit. Welcome to my exorcism.io series. In this video, I'll be working through the rotational cipher exercise from the exorcism.io Ruby track. So the rotational cipher, that's another name for the Caesar cipher. It's a simple shift cipher where you have an integer from 0 to 26, and you simply rotate each letter that many places in the alphabet. So for instance, if we have a key of 13, that's our cipher is rot 13, then the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z or Z shifts over 13 letters. So you see A becomes N, B becomes O, so on and so forth, and it rolls around. So you've got A to the N there. All right, that is it. Ciphertext is written out in the same format as the input, including spaces and punctuation. And it looks like we have to account for uppercase as well as lowercase. So let me go ahead and copy this. Go into the directory. Copy in my rake file and start a new tmux session. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the existing empty Ruby file. Open up the tests and see what we're looking at. Okay. Yep. So inside of a rotational underscore cipher.rb, we will have a rotational cipher class with a class level method rotate that takes a letter or actually a string. If I jump down here, a string and an integer representing the rotation. And it will return a string of the rotated, the encrypted text. And as you can see here, 0 will return the same thing. Let's see, what else? Nothing else, that's it. We've got to account for uppercase and spaces and punctuation. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up the testing pane and get started here. Of course, the test will fail because I deleted the Ruby file, but I can go ahead and recreate it. And swap my panes here so that it's on the left. Now it's going to complain that I haven't initialized my class. So let's go ahead and do so. Next, it's going to want the class level method rotate. So let's do that. And of course, rotate has to accept a couple of arguments, so this won't work. Yep, given 2 arguments, expected 0, so we need to expect 0. And I'm going to call this plain text and rotation. Next, we're returning nil, and we have to return a value here. We're returning A, and you know, I usually like to be pretty wooden with my TDD. A is what we passed in. We're returning A. I'm just going to I can just hard code it. Let me just do that. Hard code A. All right, that works. Test number 2. We're giving A with a rotation of 1, and that should return a B. This, of course, will fail because we've hard coded A. And so I'm going to go ahead and treat this A like the default case, and I'm going to return B unless rotation is equal to 0. Of course, that's super naive. And it actually, wait a second, it actually doesn't work because you have to return it. So I'm treating this like a guard clause, like my initial test, like returning A is the default value, and anything else is an exceptional case. And I used to jump straight in. Sometimes I jump straight in on the second test and start my implementation. But I was pairing recently with my friend Tan, which hopefully we're going to finish that session and I'll get it edited and posted. And he said he actually waits till the third one. He likes to do this with a super naive implementation until he gets to the third case. But actually, see, look, this third test is actually confirming to me that A is the default case. So it's going to be the fourth. It's going to be the fourth case. Wait a second. What happened here? Aha. So I'm going to refine my test and I'm going to explicitly check for 1 and otherwise return A. All right. And that's the last time I'm going to be able to get away with that nonsense. And now I'm going to go ahead with this test rotate M by 13, which should return a Z. I'm going to go ahead and knock off this nonsense and actually do what I need to do. So I've got a single letter here. I've got the alphabet. And what I need to do is I need to rotate it by this amount. And so I think what I want is I want my original alphabet as an array. I want a rotated copy of that alphabet. And I can find my plain text, which right now is just a letter. I can find that character. It's indexed in the original alphabet and return the character in the same position in the rotated alphabet. It's not the only way to do this, but this is how I want to start because I think it's closer to maybe where I want to get. So let me do this here. Alphabet. And the quickest way of generating an array of like the alphabet is by creating a range and 2Aing it. So I've got my alphabet, but I also need a rotated alphabet. And array in Ruby has a rotate method that works exactly as we would think. So I'll show you here. So let me just set this up again. I have my alphabet, A to Z, as an array. And then if I rotate it by 1, see how the A shot to the end, like it moved 1. And so in this case, we're rotating by 13, this last test. See how that works? All right. So I've now got an alphabet, my regular alphabet A to Z. I've got a rotated alphabet that is in the position of the rotation I've been given. And so what I want to return is rotated alphabet, the character in the position of, or at the index of, alphabet.index plain text. And let's see. Yeah, this should work. Now, this only works because all of these are, well, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't work at all. Why am I returning 0? Alphabet.index, sorry, not rotation. Rotated alphabet. This will work. And of course, the only reason this works right now is because plain text is a single character at the moment. It's not going to be that way for much longer. But it will be for this test. Rotate n by 13 with wrap around alphabet. Yeah. Okay. So the method that I came up with will do that. See, this is why I wanted an alphabet and a rotated alphabet. If I were just doing the math myself, if I were finding the index and adding the rotation to find it in the same array, in the original alphabet array, then I would have to rotate around to the beginning myself. I don't want to do that. So having a rotated version of the alphabet that's already been rotated by the amount we've been given is much simpler. That's a lot cleaner. So, okay, test rotate with capital letters. You know what? This test actually changes two things. It introduces capital letters, but it also introduces multiple letters. That's two things at once. And that, to me, that is too many things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert another test here. And that only makes one of these changes. And so I'm either going to introduce uppercase letters, or I'm going to introduce more than one letter. And I think that's the one I'm going to do. Let me just copy this, and I'm going to change it. Test multiple characters. So T will become O. So this will fail because T is not found anywhere in alphabet. So that index will be null. And I think we'll get an error here. Yeah, no implicit conversion from nil to integer, because alphabet.index plain text will return nil. And we're trying to use that as an integer here, as an index into this alphabet. So when Ruby tries to convert it, the interpreter tries to convert it to an index, we get that exception. So what do? Well, we can't downcase it because we have to return an uppercase letter. So really, we need two alphabets. We need an uppercase alphabet and a lowercase alphabet. But what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to keep them together. So I had to do something similar to this in another exercise recently. So I'm going to have lower and upper here. And I'm going to find the correct one. Let's see. For now, I'm going to really have to refactor this. So you do that, alphabet, upper, rotation. All right. And now I have, oh, dadgummit. Am I introducing the wrong thing? Yeah. Uppercase, upper, not multiple. Capital, tell you what, I'm going to name this. Test rotate capital letters, and I'm going to name this multiple letters. There we go. See, if we'd been pairing, you would have caught me. You would have said, wait a minute, you said you're doing multiple letters, but you're actually testing capital letters. And I would have said, oh, okay. And we would have decided which one to do first. So I'm doing the opposite of what I did. So I've got to do a couple of things here. I need to find the right alphabet and the right rotated alphabet. And you know what? I'm just going to do it in line right now. It's going to be ugly. Well, hang on. Because I've got to find the right rotated alphabet. Here's how this works. Alphabet is equal to, let's call it alpha. Alpha is equal to alphabet.find. And then this find, because it's a hash, we're going to get a key and a value. And we only care about the value. And we want to know if V includes our plain text. And that's going to return a 2-element array with the key and the array as the first and second element. I only care about, wait a second. I want both. I want the key and I want the alphabet. Oh, wait a second. I don't need this yet. Tell you what, I'm going to make this easier on myself right now, because I only have one letter. I'm not dealing with multiple letters yet. So I've got, I don't care about the key. Alpha equals alphabet find, and I want the last element. And so now rotated alphabet is equal to alpha rotate rotation. And now I can look in alpha for the index of my plain text. I think that will work. Okay, that works. All right, now I have to complicate it with multiple letters. This will fail, of course. Yeah, undefined method last for nil on line 9. Yeah, because plain text is not included, so so we don't find anything. It's nil. So what I have to do here is I have to do this for each character in my plain text. So I can do plaintext.chars. And I want to map those because I want to create, I have an array of letters here, and I want a new array of letters. So let's call that char. And then at the bottom, I'm going to need to join those back together to be a string. And so I want not plain text here, but I want my char. Let's see. I think that'll work. Yep. Rotate spaces will fail because this is going to fail because we're going to have that same problem of nil on line 10. Can't call last for nil because space is not found in there. So what I really want to have happen here is I want to return char as is unless it is an upper or lowercase letter. Let's see. If char matches, let's see, A to Z lowercase or A to Z uppercase. So if it's something in there, then I want to return, let's see how I can do this, because I've got a lot of stuff here. I think I'll see if I can put it in a lambda. Otherwise, char, that's really ugly. This is really ugly. I'm not sure it's going to work like that, but let me just try it. Okay, no, that didn't work at all. Let's see. It didn't actually. Does that work? Can I call a lambda like that? Yes. That's so horrible. That's so horrible, but it actually works. Okay, there's going to be a lot of refactoring here. Rotate numbers. Yeah, this should work too, because what I'm testing for is letters, lower and uppercase letters. If I don't have lower and uppercase letters, then I just return it. Yep, rotate punctuation. That's going to work. All letters. Okay, I think this looks like it's the last test. It is, and now I can go about cleaning this up because this is pretty ugly. Okay, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull alphabet out into a constant. Let me find it here. Before I go very far and move things around too much, I get the sense here that I want to instantiate a class. And normally what I would do is I would just, go straight to plain text rotation, rotate. But I think what I really want, because all of this work is going on here for each individual character. Each individual character. And so I don't think I want that. I think I want, let's see. I want something representing the rotational character or the rotated character. And I think I'm going to call it RotationalChar. And I need to give it the char and the rotation. And then if I make 2s on this class, return the new rotated character, then when I join it back together, join will call 2s, and I'll have my new string. So I'm gonna go. Let me go ahead and define this class inside of RotationalChar. Let's see, it's got an adder reader for char and for rotation. The initialize method takes char and rotation, and I set those instance variables. And then I need a 2s method. And right now, I'm just going to paste the contents that I took out of rotate up there. And let's see, it'll find alphabet because it is within, this class lives inside of the rotational cipher class. And I think this should work. Okay, no, undefined method adder read. Oh. You gotta finish typing the word. There we go. All right. So next up in refactoring is the 2s method. So one thing I can do is I can pull out this bare regex here into a constant. And give it a name. This is sort of the same principle as a magic number or a magic string. I'm going to call it, let's see, what can we call this? Letter. Letter pattern. And I'm going to put it right here inside a RotationalChar because nobody else cares about it. And then, I want to do a lot more than that. Oh, so now that I can simplify this greatly right now. I had to do it this way because this was inside of a map operation, and if I had, and so I had to use a ternary, but I can simplify this by using a guard clause now. Right here, I can return char if char matches this pattern, and then if it doesn't, continue on with the rest of this and get rid of that lambda altogether. Undefined method last. Oh, I want to return char unless char matches the letter pattern. It's the opposite logic. Again, if we're pairing, you probably saw that. You probably knew that. And then if it doesn't, I want to do all this. So okay, so now the next thing I see here is I've got these local variables here. I want to pull those out into private methods. So this first one here, let's see. I'm going to call it alphabet. And because we're going to have to call it twice, I'm going to go ahead and memoize it. And so let me change this to call that. Undefined. Again with the typo. All right, and now same for rotated alphabet. We're only using that once, so I'm not going to bother to memoize it. Okay. Well, and the last thing I see here is rotated alphabet index char. I am going to pull this out too, I think, into an index method. Give it that name. So that it's, you know, each piece is as granular as possible, as easy to reason about as possible. So that in each method, I really only have to worry and know about the context of that method. I don't have to worry about too many things here. So alphabet is, we get the alphabet and we find the location of our character, and we get the alphabet from it. 2s, we return the char unless the char is a letter, and then we return the rotated alphabet index of our char. And now self.rotate takes plain text and rotation. We map over the characters in plain text and create a rotational char for each one, and we join them back together. All right, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. All right, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around this long to the end. If you got value out of this, please go ahead and click that like button below. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and it helping other people to find my content and find this. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to find out when I've got a new video out. And be sure to check out my tactical refactoring course linked in the description below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.